Hey everyone, Christine IC here and welcome back to the vlog. So if you haven't caught up yet, or if you're new here, go check out, we got our van. And we are actually doing a whole build, custom build, our own plans. If you're starting to build, kind of watch us along. We kind of try to go detail as much as we can and all the parts we're using. This is not sponsored.
And we are not professionals by any means. So if you look at it and decide, hey, that's a good idea, at your own risk,
Right.
Because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
Okay, that's not really true, but
He's fairly handy. Pretty handy, I have to say. Today is project 3, and that is the air conditioner in the Maxx Air Fan, correct?
Yeah, correct. Putting the holes into the ceiling, building the bracing then for the inside, and then getting ready to actually mount those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. More holes in the van.
So we're taking care of all the holes first. The windows took us a day. The rack took us a day. We hope this will take a day, but...
Well, this part of it will. The rack's not 100% done because we haven't put lap sealing on it yet. We don't have the crossbars for the solar panels because we're not sure actually what size we're going to put on there. Same thing with these. We're going to get the holes in and then paint them so that way they don't rust. And then I have to build the bracing. And if I get the bracing done today, we'll hopefully mount them tomorrow. Here's everything that we have out that we need to mount. I like to get it all out, look through it. That way I have a better idea of what we're working with. This is the Dometic RTX 2000 air conditioner, 12 volt air conditioner. We use the adapters from DIY Van. This is actually just an extra 1-inch spacer. This is the foam then for the sealant. The ones for that actually sit on top of the ones that actually sit on top of the van are up there already. And then we're using a Maxx Air Fan. We use the one with the remote. I like the Maxx Air Fan because it exhausts air even when this is closed. And also then you can drive with it open, or if it rains, it keeps it sealed. So I like this as a choice. We taped up a little box there to catch hopefully debris, and we're not going to try to drop the roof panel in there. I've got that taped from the top so we can catch it from the top, pull it out. What I did is I made little cardboard templates to help us lay this out a little bit. I want as much space from the front of the roof rack to the front of the air conditioner as possible to maximize the amount of solar that we put up there. And then I use the DIY adapters as a template then for the size that I'm going to cut. And these, you can see, they are cut specifically with notches and ribs to fit the exact contour of the van. Same thing for the Maxx Air Fan. You can see it's got, and then the contours to fit that exactly. One of the reasons I wanted the roof rack up is not only because when we do the lap sealant, we need to have the warm weather that we still have a little bit of, but I also wanted to be able to build a pad like this that I can then work off of. The roof is actually fairly thin, and I think that would dent pretty easily, especially working from this side. Now, if you stood where the rib is, that's probably going to be okay, but otherwise you don't have much room to move around. So now we can stand off this to work off of to cut my hole and, you know, place everything. Setting the air conditioner up here then before we place it in will be much nicer. Yeah, so it works out real well. I have access to this. I'm not on the top of the van. Worked out very well. Yep, fan's done, air conditioner's done, doing good.
There's a few broken bits in there.
Yeah, broke a blade, broke a bit. Next step in the project here, you can see we've got our hole cut for the vent, and I pre-drilled the holes then for the mounting screws, and then took PO15 on them, and then I pre-drilled the mounting screws, holes that I'm going to use to mount the frame that I built. You see I built a wood frame here. This matches the contour of the ceiling. So that way it can sit up in there. What this does instead of the frame of the fan just screwing to the metal, it screws then to wood, and then it'll also brace then the front of each of the ceiling braces to each other across here and across there. I'm going to use adhesive then to adhere this structure to the ceiling also, and to the ceiling cross braces. This is 3M 5200. I'm using the fast cure version. My understanding is it is the same high strength permanent as the regular 5200, just dries in 24 hours instead of a few days. But this then will make that one bonded structure all together. We'll use window weld on the outside, making one nice strong structure between the two. And now I'll go to the top and mount the mounting ring for the vent. Now we're going to use window weld, 3M window weld, to put the gasket on, and then to mount the mounting bracket or the mounting ring for the vent. Okay. All right, this is Eternabond. This is what we're using as the final layer of sealant on the roof rack, the Maxx Air Fan, and the air conditioner. We use window weld between the layers of any of the gaskets, and then the lock ring on the Maxx Air Fan. The roof rack had its own little rubber foot, and then rubber on the washers. Those things should do a pretty good job of sealing it, but these vans roll down the road, and because they bound back and forth, there's always a risk for leaking. So we use then lap sealant to seal that a little bit, and then this is going to cover that. Eternabond, actually, I used this on our motorhome on the pusher. When we first got it, it had a number of leaks. I took this, covered up all those leaks, and we had that thing for almost 15 years. 0 leaks whatsoever with that. This stuff is excellent for the final level of sealing. Excuse me. No. Now we're preparing to put the Eternabond on to give this an extra seal. The lap sealant has time to dry. It takes actually 30 days to fully cure, but it's solid enough now that we can work on top of that. And realistically, given the seal, the fact that we use window weld between each layer, and this is then lap sealed, really you could probably leave it like this and it would seal just fine, you know. But it just gives me extra confidence by putting an extra layer on there, because this is the high point. There should be no real pooling of water here. Realistically, this would be enough. But again, these vans drive down the road, they have a lot of wind on them, they rock around, everything twists. Having something like the Eternabond that has some flexibility and some movement, some ability to stretch and move, gives you a much better seal. So the way we're going to put this is, again, just like so, working from the back to the front. And the reason we do that is, as this lays down here, it will cover up this seal. Most likely we're going to be driving forward, and winds and rain is going to be coming from the front here, coming from this direction. So we want them to overlap going this way. If you started at the front to the back, this would be then the forward seal. So we want to start from the back and move to the front.
So that actually lays...
I'll end up putting this down, we'll put it in, it goes right up like so, and then we use the rollers. The way this works actually is...
So it's gonna cover that whole width of that tape?
Yes.
Okay.
And the way this works is, this actually has some stickiness to it here once you peel this film off, but it actually gains most of its contact as you knead it. You knead it into place, you use a roller, and you actually activate it by then pushing it into place. So we'll end up then very carefully working it in. We just put it in place, and then we'll work it around the corner and push it all the way down so it doesn't leave an air gap. And then same thing here, we'll just work that in and try to get it to fold the best that we can.
Got it.
All right, so peel the inside membrane, which is a pain because it's obviously sticky. Somebody maybe has a trick out there on how to make this work better. I sure do not, except for just to try to keep working it until you can get a hold of it. That corner's done. See if any of these other ones look any better or not.
So it's a very thin film.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Now this is pretty sticky once you get it off. You just gotta, once you start laying it, it's gotta go in place. I also found that if you like to wear gloves, which I normally do, it absolutely is very sticky towards the gloves. So I need the tape measure here real quick.
Wow, that's different.
Yep.
Did you cut the other side? Or?
Nope. And again, you try to make this as tight as you can in there because of the fact that you don't want any air, if you can avoid it, being trapped in there. You want to make it as tight as possible.
Is it flexible at all?
It is.
Like pull it and...
Yeah, it has some stretchability to it and so forth, so you can kind of work it in there a little bit better. See, now there's some air bubbles in there. Try to push that out.
Okay, so this is all rolled out. I rolled it out for a good 5 minutes, making sure all the ends were down. And now Matt had to go back to work. So we literally did this over lunch.
We're finishing up the install on the air conditioner and the Maxx Air Fan. The Maxx Air Fan is fairly straightforward. You have to use the manual crank knob to raise up the vent so you can access the holes where you put the screws through to mount it. And basically you just put it in the ring that you've already installed, the mounting ring, you've already installed that in the roof of the van. So let's install. You can see here, as I said, we've taken the manual knob here and opened up the vent so you can reach these mounting screws here. And basically, make sure the wiring is in and it just slips in place. Like so. Panhead screws came with it. In the pack, there's a number of panhead screws. There are 4 that are just a little bit shorter than the others. The long ones are used to go through the roof into then the block, the wood block that we use then for framing material. These then just obviously put them in the holes. I am going to use a little blue Loctite just to be extra cautious here. Whether it makes any difference whatsoever, I don't know. But again, these are semi-permanent, so it makes sense to throw something on it since we have the ability to do that. You have to also be careful stepping on the van. I had a platform built here, but now that this is in, I have a hard time getting the platform closer, especially since the air conditioner is sitting on it right now. So I'm gonna put my foot on the roof here, but this is where the rib is, so I'm standing on a more solid structure so you don't dent your roof. And then do a little moving around of it here to get it to the right spot. Like so. Then repeat on the other side. All right, we're getting ready to install the air conditioner. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a small bead of silicone around this edge. Now this is soft enough that this will all flatten in there, and this will make a good seal, but I still want a little bead of silicone around the edge. It's not adhesive. I don't want it to stick to it, so if I ever have to take the air conditioner off, this can come apart here. It can be cut there if we have to, but we need to be able to take this out and leave this intact if we can. Okay, so lift it up.
What about the...
Drop it just right down in there. Just let it, no, hold on. Where's the key? Hold on.
I got, it's in the hole.
And the cable's in the hole. Very
Yes.
good. So get it where it goes so we don't drag it around the thing there. That's it. Straight down. Straight down.
Where are we down?
No.
Hold on. Let me feel. Scoot towards you.
I can't. We're full on as we can go. That's it. I'll get it from below if I have to.
Oops.
Don't drag your hand through there.
I know.
Look.
Okay. They're both in.
Okay.
So this bar is to brace it in. I'll place it over.
Yeah, that bar is to keep it from wanting to pull out. There's air wanting to pull the air conditioner out. It's shake the van.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty sealed. What did we just finish? Oh, we finished the air conditioning and the Maxx Air Fan. It took us, what, a couple of weekends?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I
Because-
should have kept track of how many hours, because most people would just work at it. We work at it off and on, hour here, hour there.
We kind of you worked on it during some lunch hours, and then now we're just finishing up. And they're
Installing it.
fully installed.
Yep.
And
Obviously not functional yet. We don't have any wiring
No.
in there, but they're in place.
yeah, they're in place, so that sets up for the big part of the holes in the van.
Yeah, the major holes that we have to put in the van, we'll still have to put a roof gland in, probably 2 for the solar panels, because we have to run power in from those, but we'll also have power that has to come out to the awning, and also then for the cameras. All the cameras we're going to use, we're going to have side view cameras, front and rear cameras, And they're also going to be hooked then to the internet, so we can use them as security cameras or monitor the van, monitor the inside when the dog's in there.
Yep.
Yep.
But that will be for later.
Yeah, we don't know exactly where they're going to come through, so we're not ready to put those holes in the roof yet.
Yep. So now that's done. I can stop being on the scaffolding.
Christine loves the
No,
scaffolding.
don't shake it. So we're done there, and we'll see you in the next video.
You got it.
Oh, crap.
Not the time for that. Take your time, buddy. We got plenty of time. Camera's got hours to record. It's got a nice picture of your butt and everything. Okay.
Does it? We cannot. What the fuck?
You can reach the camera from right where you are right
No,
now.
we cannot.
I got this. You let go of
Let's
the...
just go.
You let go of the fan. We gotta get this picture. I got the fan. Let go.
No, it's fine. We're just
Okay.
making
No.
sense. No.
Sorry, everyone. We had to move the camera. It is not YouTube appropriate to have just a big old butt shot. So, we're gonna move it down here. There you go. Perfect. We're doing good.